Bitcoin versus Cardano. Probably the absolute worst words to use versus for somebody like me who I can't stand the tribalism in crypto. I'm a fan of Bitcoin. I'm a fan of Cardano. It is what it is. I think we're all going to have a nice little ride in the next bull market. But this is kind of, especially as an ADA holder, as someone that tracks Bitcoin, this is one of the most interesting charts. And let's face it, what more is there to really talk about right now in these markets, especially if you're an ADA holder? This is probably the biggest thing that a lot of people are watching right now. It's the ADA BTC chart. I want to, in this video, break down my thoughts on where I think we are in these cycles, what is potentially next for Cardano ADA. So hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And if you're out there and you're watching this video, please hit the like button. It means a ton. Let's do it. So this is the ADA BTC chart. This is continually on my mind going into this weekend. There was this retweet that I did yesterday from Benjamin Cohen. He was basically just talking about the same exact chart. And you can see here, he has this arrow going down to around 400 sats on the ADA BTC chart. That's calling for like basically over 50% drop on the ADA BTC pair here. 50% drop or so. If we take this down to 400, we're already at 50, right? So 50+%. That's his opinion. And I just want to say this right off the bat. I'm a fan of that opinion. Not because I agree with it, but in general, in crypto, in life, I really like other viewpoints coming into play because it allows me to sit back and test my own theories. It really allows me to sit back and do what I like to do, which is visualize every single scenario. I think there's a lot of people that kind of get triggered when there's a conflicting theory or opinion against their top hold crypto. And the number one sign is when that happens is that person is probably a little too emotional about their crypto. I like it. I like that Benjamin's talking about 50% to the downside on the ADA BTC pair. So let me dissect the data from my perspective and discuss what I think. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's crazy not to anticipate the possibility because it could happen, even from a technical analysis perspective. If you look at this from a very simple standpoint, this trend line down here is something to consider, right? At the very least. What I want to start with is this, and this is the ADA chart, ADA USD. Many of you know, I talk about it all the time. I'm using these red rectangles to give us a sense of where are we this cycle compared to last cycle. And we're around here, right? We just did a video talking about potentially even trickling down a little bit more on the ADA USD pair. It's possible. But using the same concept, and that is to say, where are we in terms of the cycles and time frames, we're going to look at the ADA BTC pair and kind of do the same thing. We're actually going to start with the Bitcoin dominance chart because what happens with the ADA BTC pair is very important within context of what's happening on the BTC dominance chart. And I think it's important to consider, well, where are we this cycle around in this red box as it relates to comparable to the last Bitcoin cycle. So here's Bitcoin. You can see in the last cycle out of the bear market, kind of just cruise into the upside, right? In the bear market. And then what happened? At this time frame, last cycle after a brutal bear market, BTC kind of hit a lower high and started kind of just trending down, right? And you can see this green box is essentially an example of a bull market. And you can see Bitcoin trending down into the halving, basically, and then getting a little pop at the beginning of the bull. And then boom, bull market just doesn't perform well. So here we are again. We're entering this red box, and you can see so far, Bitcoin has been putting in a lower high down here. So far, it's been from the previous cycle all the way back here in 2016-17. That's that area where it just fell off. It's been a lower high. And so far, even this cycle, we're at a lower high. And I'm giving room to around 60 to 65%. I'm giving the case for this to happen. But Bitcoin just pumping to this lower high Fibonacci. And that's what that is. It's a Fibonacci area. But right now, if we look at where Bitcoin dominance is in this cycle around, right now, comparable to last cycle, Bitcoin's pretty much topping out and actually going to start consolidating down. That's not to say that is definitely going to happen again, but I think it's something that we should pay attention to, the time frame of where we are in these cycles. So pre-2020 halving, Bitcoin right around here. Pre-2024 halving, Bitcoin right around here. Is Bitcoin at this stage really going to pump to 60 to 65% in Bitcoin dominance? Possibly, right? There's factors at play, maybe from a macroeconomic perspective, that could trigger Bitcoin, the safest, I would say, crypto asset in terms of risk. It could trigger Bitcoin to see that move. But I'm very focused on the time frames because I see so much consistencies in the cycles of crypto and the cycles of Bitcoin that I'm very focused in that direction. And so taking all of that and going over here to the ADA BTC chart, we say, okay, so ADA on the BTC chart from the bull market high, and it topped out in like August, beginning of September, ADA against Bitcoin is down 85%. If we look at the last cycle, and we can take that crazy wick, I guess, of the ADA BTC pair. When it bottomed around that 94% area, right? If we want to kind of get rid of that extremely volatile wick, we're still looking at like 93%. So 94% to the downside. So if we were to sit here and say, okay, let's just say the same exact thing happened. Now we're in range of what Benjamin's talking about, revisiting this area to the downside, right? So that's why I say, I think it's one opinion, but even from a technical analysis perspective, if history repeats exactly in terms of just price downside for ADA against BTC, obviously that's in play. But this is where I start to differ in my opinion. There's two things. Number one, I have this general thought that over time, something like Cardano and Cardano dominance in comparison and versus Bitcoin dominance is going to grow stronger. And, we have this, it's still very early stage because this is a macro setup, but we have this kind of upper trend line that's established, right? But if you just look from 2017, there's this lower trend line that really does have more of a higher low type of trend happening. One thing to consider is we're testing that support, right? So this could fail. The support could fail. ADA could fall. One thing, which is what we do with any type of patterns, we look for a fall potentially to downside. We're aware of it, but maybe the fall isn't as bad as going all the way down to 400 sats. Maybe we're falling out of the trend line and getting a pullback into the trend line. And maybe that's what it will look like for ADA. Either way, that would be a higher low in this longer term trend, right? So I'm seeing this higher low trend, and the biggest thing that is glaring to me is the very fact that, yes, we survived this last bear market, 2018. We've so far survived this. And I see when we start introducing the second point, which is not to say just the higher low trend, but the second point, the timeline of cycles. Remember, this red box, where we are right now, similar to last cycle, ADA on the BTC chart was already starting to bottom out now, right? It didn't have another 50% leg down at that point. It was starting to bottom out. And that's the second part kind of my theory. That is to say, ADA right now on the BTC chart is in process of bottoming out. And notice the process of what that looked like back then, last cycle. A lot of volatility there. I mean, there were dips, right? We had from this little wick to that swing high, 25% to the upside. And then from that swing high to that wick to the downside, another 25% fall. And you can see this kind of repeating over and over, a move to the upside and then a fall to the downside. And that's a pretty big move right there, all within this range, the bottoming out range. So I'm looking at ADA right now and I'm saying, okay, I realize, and I say crypto can go to zero at any time. I'm accepting of that. So of course I'm accepting of maybe Benjamin's theory plays out. I don't necessarily think it will, right? That's not my theory or opinion, but I'm ready for it. But at the same time, I can't help but realize, at this stage of the last cycle, ADA started bottoming out. Maybe that's what's starting to happen once again right now. You can even actually look, if we open up this chart, and we're actually on a Sunday, you see, let me actually zoom in here. You see ADA close this weekly candle back here, red candle. That was back in July. ADA closed a red candle below that area. So there's lower lows happening right now. You see that. This could be a sign that ADA BTC is bottoming out. people will be like, man, you're just coping. I'm not coping. This is what I'm seeing. I 100% realize I could be wrong, but it's putting in on the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, some type of higher low. So let's check this out. We have on the price chart, ADA BTC, lower low, right? And then on the RSI momentum oscillator, higher low. Bullish divergence here. This could be a sign that truly ADA is bottoming out. Now, I just tweeted a little bit ago, and actually let me bring it up really quickly because I think it's probably important context to a really big piece of my thought, and that is to say it's the SEC versus Coinbase case. What happens next on this ADA BTC chart, besides the technicals and everything we're discussing, the similarities in time frame and all of that stuff, that's the wild card here. There's that Coinbase SEC case where ADA was named as a security by SEC. And in the shorter term, even in October, something could break with this case. If in October Coinbase gets some kind of win, it could be a pivotal factor in Cardano reversal. It could be a pivotal factor in the ADA BTC pair bottoming out. If Coinbase gets some type of bullish win, I think ADA would perform very nicely on the ADA BTC chart because ADA is very highly involved in that case. Huge for crypto as a whole, but I think even bigger for tokens like ADA that were listed in that. At the same time, if something negative in the case happens, it could send ADA lower. And so something negative in the Coinbase case versus SEC could play actually into Benjamin's tweet talking about another 50% to the downside. That could be something that triggers altcoins bleeding even more. But those are the things. Those are the factors. There's no way of knowing, right? And I'm just here, like every single one of you that opens up a chart and we look at it and we see things and we all have our different opinions of what we think will happen next. But I'm just like you in the sense that I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. I don't do these videos to guess exactly what's going to happen. I do these videos to anticipate, and I'm just tracking my own journey with you all. I get so many comments like that are just like somebody's trying to hold me responsible for just having an opinion and apparently somehow affecting other people's decisions. And I say time and time again, everybody, this is just the way that I see the charts. I'm sitting here with you all, tracking my own journey. ADA is a huge part of it. I'm tracking the charts, trying to figure it out myself, right? So I'm never giving recommendations because I'm always sitting here saying, I don't know what's going to happen. But one thing I will say is over the years doing these videos and over the years using technical analysis, for me personally, it's been a game changer. Anticipating all of these scenarios. And the fact that technical analysis has really been such a useful tool in anticipating next moves and actually has been accurate. I don't want to use a word in predicting things, but it has been. It's really helped me kind of make proper decisions. It's helped me make unemotional decisions. And it really is why I continue to cover these things. And it's fun actually right now. You see the similarities especially these red boxes in terms of timeline. It is fun to get to these moments. And we've been at these moments over the years to see if history repeats itself. I've been bringing this chart up a lot lately, and that is to say this zoomed out Bitcoin chart that I charted back here, calling for Bitcoin to make a move into the bull market and then retrace into a bear market. And it was fun then to see if we were going to be right or even close to right. And I would say we were. And it's the same exact thing here on the ADA BTC pair to just sit back and to say, is there going to be a similar pattern that's setting up? And from a timeline perspective, we are there now to see if the similarities play out. Is ADA BTC bottoming out right now? That's the question. And that's what I'm watching. There's going to be diverse opinions, and that's cool. It's good. It's healthy. Embrace it. Stop hating on each other. Have some fun in crypto. Have some fun on your crypto journey, and try to get rid of that emotion. I don't sit here giving advice, but if I'm going to give any type of advice, it's just to be kind to each other. If you're out there in the crypto space and you're just bouncing ideas around. Be kind to each other. Stop hating on each other because there's other opinions that go against maybe your opinion. That's so ridiculous. It's cryptocurrency. So those are my thoughts on ADA BTC pair. This is what I'm tracking. We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll take it from there. Hope you all having a good weekend. Hope you have a good start to your week. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.